we greatly value the second freedom guaranteed to us in Article 1 of the Bill of Rights, freedom of speech. Yet fair-minded people accept the fact that this, like our other freedoms, is not absolute. Our speech is limited on at least 3 levels. Level 1, marital suppression. That's when you are spouting off about something you know very little about and your wife tells you to shut up. That's called marital suppression of speech. And there's no law in any land that will ever keep that from happening. So when your wife exercises her right to tell you to pipe down, well, you'll either surrender your freedom of speech or suffer the consequences for a week or two, if you know what I mean. Level 2, a little bit more serious, is social prohibition. That's when those around you frown at you when they hear you use words that are inappropriate to the occasion, or when you're being cruel, or envious, or resentful, or expressing crass egoism. In those circumstances, you restrain your speech because of the furrowed brows and the angry looks of others. And of course, there are the common social prohibitions on the use of profanity, blasphemy, and good old-fashioned obscenity, though arbitrarily imposed depending on the speaker and the audience. Hate speech comes under this heading of social prohibition. We are quick to stop those who use words meant to harm or to offend others. We've all heard someone say with authority, "Hey buddy, you can't talk like that." Now the problem with the social prohibition of speech is that it is arbitrary and inconsistent. For example, men working in a welding shop will likely have a different standard for the use of certain words and topics of discussion than those gathered for, say, a Bible study. The standards of acceptable speech in mixed company are almost always different than those where the genders are the same. And now level 3, legal sanction. Now we're getting serious about this matter of free speech. The legal sanction of speech happens when the government makes it legal for them to burn your books, to shut down your blog, close your newspaper, or place legislative bans on the use of certain words or the writing or speaking of certain kinds of messages. This is the most dangerous of all kinds of speech prohibitions, as it impinges on one of the most fundamental principles of freedom, the autonomy of the individual. Yet, every government ever formed in the history of humankind has wanted to silence its critics and to suppress its adversaries. The first test of a politician's commitment to free speech comes when he or she is criticized. Will they withstand the criticism, knowing it is what makes a government strong? Or will they take legal action, or even illegal action, to gag or intimidate those who speak against them? Recently I asked a friend who is a citizen of South Africa how the principle of free speech was doing with his people. And he said, and I quote, "Very alive. I guess that's what keeps this country and government in line," end quote. And that is why you and I must strive to preserve this great freedom in our country. This government, like all that were formed before it, and like all that will come after it, prefers their critics be silenced, and will use a variety of gimmicks and contrivances to achieve their end. For well over 200 years, the freedom of speech has been preserved, and now it is up to you and me to secure it for the generations yet to come. Don't let Congress or any other branch of government ever take it away. Ever. Thanks for listening. I'm Ron Ross, and together, let's let freedom ring.